Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Slamet Pambudi from English Language Teaching Department 2020, and I'm making this video to accomplish the final semester assignment of cross-cultural understanding course lectured by Miss Dinar Faisa. So here I'm going to give my review about Korean TV show that I have watched, which was Abnormal Summit. So what is Abnormal Summit? Abnormal Summit is a TV show that gather some participants from various countries to discuss about important issues in our lives. So the participants are from various country, like Tyler from USA, and then Samuel from Ghana, and Julian from Belgium, Robin from France, Alberto from Italy, Daniel from Australia, and also Daniel from Germany, and then Anas from Turkey, and Jilaum from Canada, and then Takuya from Japan, and Zhang from China. And what interesting is that all of these participants, they are fluent in a Korean language. And this funny show is also hosted by three chairmen named Jun, Yu, and Sung. So they talk about some things, and what I watched in this episode was that. Let me talk about the chairmen first. So yeah, there was Jun. He was funny and able to trigger the participants to laugh. And then there's my favorite Yu. He is the second chairman, but he can act out, like for example, there was discussion about childhood hero, and then he would act out like Spider-Man by climbing the wall, etc. And there was the third chairman, Sung. He did not speak too much, so I have no further comment about him. Let me talk about the participants and their points of view in its discussion. So in this episode, I think 15 episode. First, they talk about their favorite heroes during their childhood. So Tyler had Spider-Man, and then Samuel from Ghana had Batman, and then Alberto from Italy had Kenshiro from Japan, and also Julian from Belgium had Tintin, Detective Tintin, and then Robin from France had Rahan, and then Daniel from Australia had Popeye, and then Daniel from German had Ninja Turtles, and then Anas from Turkey had Kalohan. Jilaum from Canada had Scott Pilgrim, and then Takuya from Japan had One Piece, and then Zhang from China had Calabas Brothers. So I find this first discussion was fun to me, because they mentioned several superheroes that I used to watch and loved many of them. But I also noticed that there were new characters of superhero characters that I have just heard, like Kenshiro, admired by Alberto, and then Arahan, admired by Robin, and then Callahan, admired by Anas, and then Caleb's brother from China by Sang. Yeah, it was a really interesting opening to the discussion. And I forgot to mention that before they started off their discussion, uh, they also the chairmans also gave each of the participant a Korean name. It was really funny. And then, okay, moving on to the next discussion, which was more intense. They talked about they presented a guest named Park Ji Yoon, which is a career woman with two children, and she spent she spends a lot time in work and having her children looked after by uh, his husband and his mother. So the discussion went intense. Like the first is, should women give up work to look after children? And there the participants gave different perspective or opinions, but I think I can relate to the question because I as a man also often think about this if my future wife works or stay home, and they give various perspective like women also have the right to work, but uh, another perspective is that children need their mother presence more than the fathers. So yeah, and then the discussion continued to talking about birth rate. Yeah, as we know, the birth rate is uh, I I was surprised to know that birth rate can be a problem, but low birth rate can be a problem, but it can also be a blessing. For example, uh, Jilom from Canada told that in Canada birth rate their birth rate was low is low, so the government would give reward to parents who have more children. But on the other hand, in China, Zheng stated that in China, if the parents have more child, then the government will punish or fine them with money. So it's different, yeah. It's really contradictive. And oh yeah, Zheng also stated that if the children, the Chinese government only like uh, tell the people to only have a child, one child in a family. But if it's a twin, then it's unplanned, so it's okay. Okay, and then the discussion continue about talking about whether a husband should uh, accompany the wife when she is giving birth, and then the participants have different perspective also. Like some of them tell, some of them gave opinions that they should be there. They should be there with their wives while giving birth, but because of their love. But some other participants said that they cannot, could not bear to see their wives suffering while giving birth. But I think the conclusion was they say that it's whether the wife wants their husband to be present or not in her side. While my opinion myself, I'm also afraid if my wife is giving birth and I should be present by her side to see her suffering, or I should wait outside, but like it's such a dilemma. And then the next discussion is about whether a husband, uh, for example, when a wife has higher income than the husband, should the husband stay at home and be a houseman, house husband, to take care of the children and the house? And they also share a different perspective, but this is also relatable to me because as a man, if I am a husband and I have a wife and she has a higher income than me, then I think I would be like a kind of insecure because in Indonesia itself, the culture is that a husband should provide more for the wife and children and family. So yeah, it's kind of another dilemma too. And they share different perspective that some of them are okay with staying at home, and some of them believe that the woman should be at home more because the children, especially during uh, their golden age, should have the presence of their mother. And then, oh yeah, the discussion continued to the next agenda. It's not like a discussion or debate, but more like the participants they train to be a dad first by reading stories for their uh, children. So yeah, it was really funny to watch them reading the stories. The first stories was about pigs, and then second it was about Cinderella, and everyone read out the story, and then the guest Park Ji-yoon uh, gave them score, and the best one that was chosen to be the best storyteller was Zhang from China. And then the second practice was about swaddling babies. So they were given baby dolls, and then each of them should practice to uh, swaddle the baby. And yeah, I think it's important for father to be to practice swaddling the baby. And I myself, as a man, find the baby so fragile that I'm afraid to even touch them. So yeah, it's really I have to train myself. It's a very important practice. And then, oh yeah, in swaddling the baby, the practice of swaddling the baby, the winner was Daniel from Australia. And then discussion continued, and they talk about their mom, and then yeah, mom and etc. Their childhood stories, and then to the final of the summit. So yeah, in conclusion, this summit was a very amusing, especially because first the participants came from various countries across the world, and then I believe that girls would find this summit discussion fun to watch because all of the participants are handsome men from various countries. And then what besides the the great concept of discussing uh, interesting issues across the world, uh, especially sharing different perspective from another countries presented by the participant. Uh, I also find this reality show interesting because the 11 participants from different countries, they can speak Korean, which I believe is like a hard, a difficult language to master, but they can master it. I was really amazed by these facts. Well, I cannot wait to see another episode of Abnormal Summit. So I hope uh, I can stay and give my next review about uh, current summit again or another uh, reality show. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.